Welcome back to the Kikao session.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. We were talking of how GM product can address some issues, and I know there are many at the level of the farmers. You gave a number of factors which should make us be comfortable. But the farmers now, what do they feel? What is their perception on GM product? Are they willing to plant GM seed, for example? Are they, these seeds, are they available to them so that they can be able to use them and reap and see the benefit of it? What is it at the level of the farmer?
Farmers are very clever. They are business-minded people. The new variety, once provides solution to their problem, they grab it and nobody can stop them from using it. Farmers all over the world, government might have its own regulations and so on, but if a farmer gets attracted due to the productivity and the benefits he is going to get from a new variety, whether it is GM or not GM, farmers don't care. They are looking for solutions to their problem. That lends the credence to the fact that our policymakers need to become more accountable to the need of the farmers, rather than going by some flimsy perceptions being peddled around by those people who do not even know what agriculture is in the first place. When if I can use the BT cowpea experience in Nigeria, during our on-farm evaluation of the variety, we had to convince many of the farmers to let go of the seed with which we evaluated together with them, because they didn't want to release the seed. We had to buy it at a higher price from them in order for us to fulfill government requirement that it was no time to allow them have them, because they have seen it with their eyes. Instead of 8-9 sprays of insecticide, with only 2 sprays, they were harvesting very huge yield from that. So this is what farmers are. And when the grains were processed, for all the products that are known to be made out of cowpeas with conventional cowpeas, the taste, the look, the feel, and the attraction is no different. It is no different simply because the biochemical test also showed exactly what the farmers were testing. So both consumers and farmers are seeing it. Farmers are whom we are working for. We know if we don't have what it takes to solve their problems, they will not even look at it.
A similar experience.
Yes, please.
We took farmers to a confined field trial of cotton in some central Kenya location place, and we took them round. This is the BT cotton, this is the conventional, you can see, and we went round. They almost took the seeds by force. They said, give us this one. We have already seen, so what are you waiting for? And we're telling them, wait, hold on, we still have some stages. Then they couldn't understand why we are not giving them the seed. The other day, we met farmers from North Rift in Kenya, and we were basically telling them there is the BT technology that is coming, which will help us address the issue of the stem borer, and they challenged us. Bring to us also that which will address the fall armyworm.
Yes.
And also go and do that science. Bring to us that which will make nitrogen, maize that can make
fertilizer.
Yes, for fertilizer.
Yes.
So that they can reduce the investments in fertilizer. So like Prof is saying, once the farmers see that this is addressing our problem, they are ready to go.
Obviously, this biotechnology is bringing solutions to the main challenges. Obviously, the farmers need it. They are willing to have the technology and use it to increase their yield. Now, why is it that it is only in a couple of countries on the continent where we have biotechnology applied. That is one thing that is not easily understandable. And what can we do to enhance the adoption and use of this technology in many countries on the continent?
This has stemmed largely from fear. What Prof explained earlier, fear of the unknown, a new technology, and there is fear. There is therefore no more or less political goodwill to get these technologies into a particular jurisdiction. And therefore, it has remained out of reach for a large majority of African farmers, whereas other countries have made steps. Some countries have even revised their original laws to make them more flexible, more robust, to allow the adoption of this technology. Others have been almost, quote unquote, forced because the neighboring country has adopted the technology. Chances are that seed will cross the border. And therefore say, wait a minute, we must put our house in order as this technology is coming in. So it is fear of the unknown and therefore reluctance to embrace this technology within certain jurisdictions.
Yeah, what can we do to enhance the adoption?
We need to
fear.
put more effort in exhibiting the technology practically,
Yes.
in both on the farm and also on the table for people to see. If any Kenyans or Nigerians or any African for that matter had traveled to places like Brazil, Argentina, United States of America, China, and so on, if they had eaten sweet corn, for example, sweet melon, and so on and so forth, they would have eaten GM varieties of these ones. They would have been thanking their tongue for tasting that because they are so tasty, sweet, and so on. So without knowing it, in those countries they have gone beyond that level of doubt and rumor peddling about this technology. It has become part of their diet. So here we need to invest more in creating awareness, in disabusing the minds of the public, most especially by those people who present themselves as experts in this area while they are novices. A professor can be a professor in a particular area, but he might not know exactly the subject matter under discussion. Yes. And if he or she opens her mouth to the public and then musters the reaction of members of the public, our policymakers shake without taking any change. But I'm sure if we engage the media, interpersonal exchange of ideas, explanation, I tell people that as a scientist, I have no worry about people expressing concern about GMO. It's because they don't know.
They don't know.
If by the time I explain and I show them what it is, many of them, their minds get disabused against it, and then their attitude changes towards it. And I think that is what we need to do. We need to show the technology. We need to show evidence practically to those places. And before you know it, the policymakers themselves will have their own orientation changed by the public.
That is very good. I think it is very clear. And there is an initiative which has been initiated by the Open Forum for Agricultural Biotechnology and the African Agricultural Technology Foundation, etc., which says seeing is believing. And people go and see on-farm trials, and they can see the difference between the two. They can see the difference in the yield and the product, how similar they are. Actually, a GM product is not something different from from the original product. And that is seen. When you have seen, you believe. And now there is another initiative which comes to complement that one, is eating is believing. So people go and eat cowpea or made different ways, and they are still alive. They are okay, yes. And they have tested it. The way in America you can test all those products. I think all those are efforts that we need to do more on different countries when it is possible to bring those products there, and have the information passed in a simple way, like seeing is believing. Yes. In a simple way, like eating is believing. And then hopefully we will change quickly the perception and create more confidence in this product, and come up with policies and regulations which will enable countries to adopt and use the technologies. As we said here, farmers are willing to adopt them. Actually, they want them today. Yes. Give us the seed and we produce better. And we consumers, we need that, because we don't want to see people starving because there is no food produced from our farming because of different pests and challenges, climate change coming in, etc. So there is an effort that is needed from us, but we cannot do it alone as scientists, as regulators. Policymakers, decision makers have a role to play. Scientists have to continue to give it a face, an African face, because I will believe it if I see my brother here presenting it. I will say, oh, he knows it, and I trust him. But also, I think we need to create that bridge between the farmer, the scientist, the policymaker, and then create more awareness. I want to conclude by asking our colleagues in the media again to help us breaking the barriers of communication, so that this can be put in a simple way to the common, the ordinary person that is in agriculture, a consumer, at any level of the value chain, because we need to understand it so that we demystify GMO. It is not harmful. It is something which is which undergoes a lot of trials, and safety is assured. That is why we can advise that we put it on the market. So media, we have an area of collaboration which needs to be continued. Colleagues, Professor Ishiaku, Dr. Roy Mugira, yes. I want to thank you very much, and I want to take this opportunity to also thank our viewers for their attention. I invite you to the next Kikao session. Goodbye for now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
And now to our science terminology of the week on Science Speak.
And this week, the word is biological control. This is a method of controlling pests and diseases using other organisms. For example, the introduction of a particular species of birds into an area to control locusts.
All right, what a revealing conversation that was, separating fact from fiction. So yes, GMOs may not be the silver bullet, or at least not the only one on the African continent, but they're definitely part of the toolkit needed to tackle the question of food security on the continent and other applications. My name is Joe Agail. This conversation can only go on. Thank you for watching Kikao.